I'm Zaya Tom.
And I'm Dan Riskin, and we are devoting our entire show today to Spain and some of the hottest stories we've ever found there. Like these villagers who walk over hot coals every year. But why? We'll talk to an expert.
Plus, we'll meet a farmer who's built a cathedral out of scraps and donated mortar. But how safe do you think it is? That's all a little later.
But first, fasten your seatbelts because we're about to give you exclusive access to one of the world's biggest air transport planes.
That's right. Daily Planet made the trip to Seville, Spain to reveal the ins, outs, ups and downs of the Airbus a400m.
You're looking at a test model of one of the most massive planes ever. This is the a400m, designed to challenge the transport planes that currently rule the sky. At 45 meters long, it's a whale of a plane, bigger than a C-130 Hercules. Like the Hercules, it's designed for both military missions and humanitarian aid. It can even serve as a gas station in the sky, refueling other aircraft in flight or taking fuel on board. One look at the cargo hold says it all.
The cargo hold has a maximum capacity of 37 tons. That means we can transport a wide variety of things like skydivers, paratroopers, medevac, even helicopters, without the rotor blades, of course. It can drop cargo at a low speed and altitude and land on short runways without any prior preparation.
It's one of the most powerful transports on the planet, with 4 propeller-driven engines providing a total of 11,000 horsepower. So it's a monster, but what's it like to fly?
It's a big truck, but it flies a bit like a sports car.
Test pilot Tony Flynn has taken it out for a few test drives.
We can go to 120 degrees angular bank, we can go to 3G, but of course with that comes responsibility, because it doesn't matter how good the sports car is, you can still drive off the road.
That's why the mechanical controls are different than in a car, or even an older plane.
Most old aeroplanes, the joystick at the front is connected mechanically to the flight control systems on the aeroplane. What we've done is we've removed that mechanical link, so the pilot is connected to a computer.
The computer system is called fly-by-wire. It's programmed to guess what the pilot wants, but fly within safe limits.
There is a G limit, so he cannot overstress the aeroplane. He cannot stall the aeroplane and make it go too slow.
The a400m is propeller-driven. That gives it an advantage over jet engines.
The large transport C-17, when it lands on an unprepared strip in the desert, lots of stones will be sucked up into the engines and causing engine damage. And what propellers allow us to do is to land on unprepared strips without sustaining the type of damage that a jet engine would suffer.
Tony's going to take the a400m out for another test run.
Off we go.
But before he does, he's taken us inside for an exclusive look at the cockpit, one of the most advanced in a transport aircraft anywhere.
We've got 8 TV screens in the cockpit. We can configure these screens for each mission. For example, on the displays behind me, on one display, right now we can have the map. I can put up a terrain display, so I cannot fly into a hill just by pressing one button here. The weather radar is now displayed, which will show any bad weather ahead of me, which I can avoid and not fly into.
If all that fails, the pilot can still fly with the heads-up display, which shows him all the essentials: airspeed, altitude, flight path, and an infrared mode so he can see at night, even in bad weather.
What it allows the pilot to do is to fly tactically, for example at low altitude, whilst looking out of the window. But at the same time, he's able to read the information directly in front of his eyes.
All the technology provides some comfort, but there are more comforts built in. It's kind of like driving a really incredibly big flying RV.
It's very comfortable. The seats are well designed, the whole space is very well designed, and it's a nice place to go to work. In fact, we even have some very nice and very expensive meal tray holders where we can have dinner during the flight.
Tony doesn't have time for dinner today. He's got to fly. Tony and his mates are checking everything from the plane's maneuverability to wing performance. The wings are ultralight, made entirely of carbon fiber.
Una de ellas,
One of the technologies that stands out is the use of carbon fiber. The wings are completely designed and built with carbon fiber, as well as the vertical and horizontal stabilizers, airframe, and engine. This reduces weight and fuel needs.
el consumo de combustible.
The team is also pushing the limits of onboard technologies. Every flight test and all data collected in flight are monitored by engineers on the ground in Spain, France, Germany, and England.
Los ingenieros, tanto de ensayos en vuelo como los
Engineers, both in the plane and on the ground, can detect any flaws in any of the systems and communicate with the pilots in real time.
sistemas y comunicarse en tiempo real con los pilotos.
Mission accomplished.
When the flight test goes right, you definitely feel a sense of achievement, and you come away